Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here, and we are back from a short, or I don't know, it felt long hiatus as I was recovering from my postpartum psychosis diagnosis. But here we're back, and what better way to come back to these live conversations than with the amazing, the entrepreneurial, the talented, the beautiful Dr. Candace Parrish. Thank you so much for being here with me today to talk about Virgo season. I know we're past Virgo season, but we're here to talk about it. And I'm sure there's still a lot of wisdom that Dr. Parrish, that Candace can share with us today. So to get started, I'm going to start off. I told Candace before this, we're going to talk about your big three, Candace. Do you know what your big three are by any chance in astrology?
Yes, because I had the fortunate opportunity to take a course from you on how to infuse astrology into my
That's
business.
right. That's right.
Which is
Well,
important.
yes, super important.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, how do you feel like that you're a Virgo? Because some people say that, oh, I'm not this sign because of this and that. Like, do you embody your Virgo-ness?
Yeah. Yeah. It's given very much Virgo.
Yeah.
There
How
are things that feel different, like just because I'm an artist, but
mm,
everything is still organized chaos. You know what I mean? And then I can really tell with my interactions with people. That's where the real Virgo is.
oh yeah, like how so? What are some things that you say, or how do those interactions go?
I have the need to show up very curated, and then I also want to get out of there and be myself. Somebody told me recently, because they were giving me a compliment, and I made these sort of things so that I can respond better to compliments.
Yeah.
And I'll say like, "Thank you, I appreciate that." And they were like, "You sound like a robot." It's because I'm a Virgo and I have made categories of responses in my head.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is very Virgo, like categorizing the responses that
Right.
you would give. Meanwhile, like Pisces sis over here, I'm just like, let me just
You
follow
know
my
who told
spirit.
me? Pisces. My friend Robin that you met that time, she
Yeah.
is the one who told me that. She's a Pisces.
Well, it's interesting because Pisces and Virgo are opposite sides of the wheel. So we're complements of each other because sometimes we
Yeah.
might need some more of that categorization and you might need more of that flow. So that's very interesting. We share the same moon sign. We're both Taurus moon. So we both have that earth, that stability or the need for stability, I guess, and security and yeah. So do you enjoy comfy cozy things? Like what's your self-care look like?
Oh my God. I do self-care all day. Um
I love your reels.
I have to do self-care all day. And it's probably as a result of having like and we probably talked about this before, but having like when I got COVID, I now have like long COVID effects. So
Yeah.
there's just stuff I got to do now to
Mhm.
make myself feel better, to recharge.
Mhm.
I mean, whether it's like laying down, making tea. One of the latest things that I'm just trying to do in all categories of life is just romanticizing life where I am.
Oh,
And
I love that. Wait, hold on. Guys, that's such a good quote. Romanticizing life where you are,
yes.
where I am. That's beautiful. What does that look like for you?
So for me, we all have like we all want to be somewhere else. We might like parts of where we are, but we want to be somewhere else. And I think when you're single, we're trained when we're single to long for a partner and for
Mhm.
it to take up a lot of space in our life. But I've actually minimized that window. Like I can long for someone and I can like journal about what I want, whatever, but I think for me, I don't want it to take up such a large place in my life. So
Mhm.
I'm romanticizing life right now. Like I get to wake up when I want. I eat what I want. I move where I want. You know what I mean? Like it's just me and
Yeah.
my dog. We go out and we, you know, I can listen to bossa nova loud. I can, just do whatever. And it may not always be like that because one day I could find someone and I could have a family, and I'll romanticize that part of life as well.
Sure. Sure. I love that perspective that you have on that. And then going to your rising, you're a Gemini rising. So, the rising sign is that mask, our first impressions. Do you have thoughts on, like, do you know much about Gemini or not so much?
So I think we got it wrong in the thing, didn't we? I think
Oh,
I'm a double Taurus.
was it a double Taurus? Oh, okay. Okay. Did we get it wrong with your
I think
time or something?
it was me. It wasn't we. Let me take trying to toss it off on you. I entered my
Oh, so you're
birthday
double
month.
Taurus. Well, that's even better because it goes back to the romanticizing bit. If that's like how you're coming across. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Okay.
which makes my life interesting because then I'm a triple earth sign.
I was gonna say that was my next that how did you know? Like you're just reading my mind. My next thing was talking about you've got a lot of earth. You're very earth focused chart. Yeah, what does that mean for you? Or how does that translate?
Well, it's good. And then I also have to, like everyone else, just learn how to work with it. It's great in that I'm connected, and all of my work is like with my hands and like I
Yeah.
love herbs. I love natural like stuff, things
Yeah.
touching the earth. Um and the good thing about earth signs, as you know, having some of your chart is that you're gonna get the stuff done. But the challenge is to not then be in like constant overdrive.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like constantly working. You and me, we do a lot.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if there's family, even when there's like other things. So it's just kind
Yeah.
of like,
Maintaining some sort of balance. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I joke about this with my coaches. It's like my word of 2023 has been surrender, and it's been a constant
mhm.
process of doing that. So much so like I had to get sick and like laid on my ass for it to happen, but it's a constant reminder that we need to rest in order to receive, right?
That's powerful. Kudos to you. I am not even trying to use that word. I am not even trying to use that word, but I've had to surrender, but it's just like not yet. Maybe
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah. Well, I know we've talked about, the NAP ministry as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And, like, the power of rest and the power of, needing to do that. I loved the Rest is Resistance
Yeah.
book. It was so good. Yeah.
Yeah. All that stuff is very powerful. And it ties into the work that I did. And then I also too got when I got COVID in June 2022,
Hmm.
I didn't realize that I would have the continued fatigue, burnout, um,
Sure.
anxiety, you know what I mean? All of
Mm.
that stuff. And
Mm.
so I actually went on medical leave in
Mhm.
what was that, fall 2022, I guess.
Mhm.
And then I got off medical leave in spring 2023. So
Mhm.
I also had that period of like having to like rest, and then living with like invisible illness is difficult too because people assume and you assume that you can do things, but
Yes.
you can't.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, invisible illnesses, it's so difficult to yeah, like why does there have to be a physical manifestation of that in order to be deserving of rest or deserving of a break? Trisha Hearsay. I just wanted to say the name of the author of Rest is Resistance. Her name came to mind as you were going.
Yeah.
And I mean, like likewise, right? Like all of my mental health stuff that has
Mhm.
happened
Mhm.
people don't really know,
Mhm.
but being able to advocate for yourself and to create space for yourself is very important, but difficult, as you said, when
Right.
you got that movement and shaken. You've mentioned your business several times. Why don't you tell folks like what it is and what you do? Because I know that, as you mentioned, you like working with your hands, so would love folks
Right.
to know what exactly that means.
Right. Thank you. So my most prominent business is Odelia Marie and Patrice. it's a eco-friendly activism for self-care company. We make everything from soap to candles, and I'm very focused on the ultra decadent experience
Mm.
that's in the affordable luxury range. And I love that word because it's all about forcing like self-care, things like, bath salts and sugar scrubs, things that have you touch your body and like get acquainted with yourself, and all that time, that personal time that you need. I feel like those products facilitate that work.
That is a hell of a pitch. I love that. That is so good. Can you tell that I used to be Candace's mentor? I'm like,
Right.
hooray, you get an A. No, that's I mean, I love that. I love that. I love how you've branded yourself and built that business. And so I have this book here that I've used with pretty much all of the injuries I have. It's The
Oh,
12 Faces of the Goddess by Danielle Blackwood. And
wow.
every time I read about the different, because I have Virgo here, and what I thought was so interesting and relevant to the work that you do. It says here Virgo is often an expert on everything from Ayurveda to vitamins. She can be an obsessive label reader and usually knows the exact origins of what she chooses to put into her body.
Isn't that insane? I was literally about to make a video today. Well, I will later,
Yes.
just on like, because I have to share more about our company and our stance. And
Yeah.
one of our stances is that we are limited in like to the resources that come from the earth on purpose, right? Like
Mm.
hydrocodopropacoil and all those other terms that we don't know. They might be nice topically, but who knows what they do internally. So I'm
Wow.
always like deep in that. So I love that like explanation.
Well, it's per your sign. Um, yeah, just like advocate of whole foods and all that. You're still a vegan, right?
Yep, still vegan.
How long have you been vegan at this point?
It has been 2016. It's been what, 7 years? It'll be 8 years next year, next March.
Wow, that's congratulations. That's
Thank you.
yeah. I just realized that something else that we were supposed to talk about per the description, and something that has come up here is something tied to Virgo, which is that perfectionism piece, right?
Yes.
You know, they're the Virgo woman's a perfectionist and knows that everything, including herself, has room for improvement. And I personally wore my perfectly imperfect shirt today. What has been your journey with perfectionism?
Ooh. Um.
If you've had one, I mean, is that something that's come up as a Virgo for
Oh
you?
yeah, for sure. I've definitely experienced a just long journey with perfectionism that I don't think when I was younger I didn't fully understand. I just knew
Mm,
that I would make plans, and when the plans didn't happen, as I projected them, I would be like really hard on myself, and I would go into a
mm,
depression, and it would, be this whole thing. So as time has gone on, I think um faith, therapy, and just like flat out life, like, occurrences have helped me understand, like loosen up a little bit more. And just
mm,
kind of like one of the analogies that I love right now is like when you're surfing, right? I love water. I love watching people surf, big waves, documentaries on that. And they, you know what I mean? They're like catching different waves, they're making note of what waves, and
yeah.
if they get wiped out, they get out there, they get back on.
Mm.
Sometimes you start a wave and it's bigger than you thought it was. So you need to, you know what I mean, calm down,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
stable. So I just say now I'm like surfing the waves. And I did have a therapist who she helped me with the analogy of like leaf in the wind. Like, and that
yeah.
used to really annoy me because I was like, well, I just can't blow anywhere. Like, I don't know where I'm blowing. But
Yeah, yeah,
it's like, even with that, like just relax. Like blow when you get there, figure it out,
yeah.
just
I had a similar from a therapist worked with in the past. Similar analogy types were like meditations where you're the mountain, right? And like letting whatever comes your way and letting the water go around you or whatever, and having people do. So yeah, just being in a place where you can surrender
Yes.
and see where life takes you. Yeah, I mean, has that mindset how has that mindset helped you in terms of your business? The catching the waves?
Oh, it's helped a lot because
Yeah.
in oh Jesus, in business, like you are literally a surfer. Like,
Yeah.
and you have to have like strategy and foresight. Things
Mm.
almost never go like as planned.
Mhm,
In
mhm,
2020 through like 2021, we were like doing great, making some money. I made plans to get like a small studio space. I did. I had a grand opening in March 2022. And even that, I played it safe, right? I didn't get like a storefront. Like people are like, "Oh, do you want a storefront?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna rent this small space, something I know I can afford out of like my paycheck as well. Should things not, whatever, whatever." And then lo and behold, like in late March, right when we opened, inflation like happened. And then like
mm,
suddenly people are not shopping, you know what I mean, as much. And then
yeah,
suddenly I need to actually pay for the shop space out of my paycheck. So
mm,
it's just like you can never, navigate. Um, but what you can do is equip yourself, just like we do with therapy for our emotions. Business tools, you can
mm,
equip yourself with business tools. If you have faith, like lean on that. There were some things that I have faith, and there were some things that I didn't do in 2020 that I felt like God told me to do, like crowdfund, and I didn't because I was like, well, I had too much pride. I don't want to ask anybody for
mm,
money. I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And that was like the right time to crowdfund. And then when I finally needed to crowdfund, it was the worst time to crowdfund. But should I have listened, you know what I mean? Uh,
yeah, it's so hard to, like, trust yeah, whether it's your intuition, whether it's source
right,
God, coming through. It can be hard, like, when you're looking at the external circumstances around
right,
you. Yeah.
right,
Yeah, I
right.
can understand that. Yeah. I mean, gosh, so Virgo is a sign of also like service. And you mentioned that, that in the work that we do in terms of service, but how do you maintain your business and maintain, you said it's social justice forward? Is that the phrasing that you used for it?
Activism forward, yeah.
Activism forward.
Yeah.
How is like how do you do this as an organization when there's like so much going on in our world?
How do I infuse like activism in the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think for me and you, right, that's always important. I think, all the way back to my dissertation work,
Yeah.
I don't want a company that is just out here doing whatever. That's fine if your company is. I have no judgment, but just the way that like my soul is made, I need to do some good, not from like a pride point of me helping, but from the humble point of me like serving, like me giving back to this world that I'm a part of. And so with my company, then I knew, and that also comes from my family. Like I've seen them always be givers. So I knew
Mhm.
that I wanted to infuse that, and that came about in several ways. Two of the ways that we're doing now is like uncovering hidden histories of contribution from BIPOC, and then also with environmental justice. I
Mm.
always say, like, when I explain my company to people who don't really know, like, skincare, beauty, I say we're the Patagonia of skincare because people know that Patagonia
Oh, yeah.
is a very, like, very firm stance in, like, environmental justice. And that's what we are for, like, the beauty industry.
Oh, okay. I love that. The Patagonia of what?
Skincare, of
Skincare.
skincare. Yep.
Skincare. I was like, "Wait, what?"
I know. I have a loose mentor who said that I say loose mentor because I'm like, obviously, like, please be and she was like, describe yourself by, you know what I mean? Attaching yourself, like, so that people can understand, like, we're the
Yeah, I
CEO.
love that.
Yeah.
Wait, then I gotta figure out mine then. I'm gonna have to do that exercise. I think
Yes.
that's so interesting. That's such an interesting way to brand yourself, like, taking something that people know
Right.
and, like yeah, alright, hold on, let me write that down.
Right.
I'm literally writing it down right now. Live on
Right. And you'll see it again because I'll be posting it sometime. I used it internally a lot. And part of my relinquishing of perfectionism is
Mhm.
sharing more of the story. Like when you will look at our social media, sure, the
Mm.
branding and everything was very pretty, the pictures, blah, blah, blah. But nobody knew that we were, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I have just started to like sit down and talk about like what we are. And it's like if you are
yeah,
the Patagonia of skincare, if you look at Patagonia's social media, it's very clear that, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're showing their products out in the world, but they're also talking about climate, you know, change and
yeah.
XYZ. So how can you say that and you're not showing it? So it's like breaking up some of that perfect picture life to
Mm.
also include some of that activism, which isn't perfect. Like sometimes you need to show an ugly picture of pollution because it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, yeah, interesting. So letting go of the perfectionism even in terms of your content.
Right.
Yeah. But what about for you as, like, the face and the CEO of the company? Like, d
Uh,
have you had issues or have any challenges in terms of how you show up?
yeah, it's hard for me to I love to play the background, but as someone says it, if you don't have a bunch of money, then you're gonna have to play the foreground, you know, with your company.
Mm.
You know, so it's hard for me to do videos because of stuff like this.
Oh,
I
yeah, what is that over there?
It's my palm tree, it's my beloved palm tree that's been with me forever. And I've just gone through a really raggedy season, and so have my and there's a lot of brown over in my corner. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, we see them.
Yeah.
Listen, that's life, you know? Talk about
Right.
look, we got perfectly imperfect over here on this shirt. So you got your perfectly imperfect plants over there because I mean we're trying our best, right?
Right.
Yeah, trying our best.
Right.
And
So
yeah.
I have to like get over. I'm like, oh, I can't film today because my plants are brown or this and that. And then finally the other day I just was like, you know, just sit down and film it. You got to just get more comfortable with just straight up like talking to the people.
Yeah.
And something that made me understand that is going to farmers markets regularly where I would talk to
Mm,
people and I would share with them all these things, and they're like drawn in by that. And then I realized nowhere on the social media is this, and nowhere on the website
mm,
is this.
mm. Wow. So one way that you're overcoming it is just like forcing yourself to go to these you said farmers markets, these
Yeah.
events.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so commendable because I know that's not easy to just continually show up even if you are uncomfortable or you're tired or, you know, that sort of thing. Like that's a good pro tip for folks that are might be in the same boat as you and want to do something with their business.
Right. Right.
Do you have any other pro tips that you can think of when it comes to, you know, overcoming perfectionism or, you know, just trying to create visibility for a business?
I think one thing, I think the biggest way that we're in our like that we experience setback in business is like with ourselves. It's like literally a battle of yourself. And there are external things for sure, but a lot of times how we either approach or do not approach that is like our you know our own thoughts and opinions. And your business
Mm,
is not you unless it's like
mm.
Rowena LLC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your business is not you. Yeah.
Not. So step out of your own way. I, you know, whatever like extra money I get, I hired a designer and we're revamping everything. I
Wow.
made everything at first and it was like hard to, you know, XYZ. I had my graduate students doing my social media for a while, and that was hard for me because it's like, well, what if they don't do whatever? But there are many people that are going to do what you need them to do way better than you. So take your time, find the people. Everybody puts their work on social media. I found Amber Koski via social media. She's doing our rebrand. Um, is a way better graphic designer than me. It is so great to have her. And I'm so glad I let go of like, well, I'll just go ahead and design it since I know how I want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have the expertise. I know I want us to go to Whole Foods. I don't have the design expertise or the wherewithal. Like if that was all I had to do, sure. But I have to make stuff. I have to like social media. I have to show up at the farmers markets. The
Yeah.
last thing that I have time to do is like do a whole rebrand and get everything.
Right. Wow, so the goal is to make it to Whole Foods.
Yeah, that's one of our goals within the next, I would say 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because
That's
they do
exciting.
local. They're national, but they will put you in like 3 local stores.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Huh, anything else that you can think of in regards to the perfectionism trap, in regards to Virgos being Virgos?
Yeah, I would say just like on a personal level. Whoops, sorry about that.
You're okay.
Put that on decline. On a personal level, I would say just like how you deal with people
Hmm.
uh is like a thing. Just like making sure you probably do your therapy so you show up like well
Yes,
to
we are very
people
pro
and
therapy.
kind. Yeah, sometimes we can be straight shooters. And we just are very straightforward with it. We're grounded, we're like, but that doesn't always work best for like teamwork.
Mm,
So you definitely should make sure you do your inner work so that you're like, just being well with people and all of that stuff.
yeah. So, get your therapy, get your, equivalent to Patagonia for skincare. Um, take care of your plants as best as you can. If not, that's okay.
They love
Um,
you. They grow back. They're still growing.
yeah. And I'm trying to think, what was the other, go to the farmers markets.
And get some fresh stuff or either sell some stuff.
Get fresh stuff or sell some stuff. Candace, where can folks find you?
So they can find me on Instagram. I'll give you @_OM and P_. We're also on Patreon. We have a Patreon where I upload a video every week about OM and P and the process we're in. And then also our website is shopomnp.com.
So I'll make sure to have all those links in the show notes for sure so that
Yes.
folks can find you. Thank you so much for chatting with me today about Virgo season, about your business, about entrepreneurship and perfectionism. It really has been a pleasure. I know we're a little bit late with Virgo season, but we made it. And I thank you for being flexible with the rescheduling.
It's always Virgo season.
Well, all right. That's what we're gonna end for today. It's always Virgo season up in here, but we will be talking about another rescheduled conversation with my friend Cosette Conrad on Leo season in terms of our Leo son. So her little boy, who's 5, is a Leo, and my son Robbie, who is just a little over 2 months old, is a Leo. So catch us then on in a couple weeks, or is it next week? Next week, as we chat through what it's like to parent a Leo little fiery boy. So till then, take care, and thank you so much again, Candace.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.